Tonight, an emergency hearing regarding accusations North Star Water and Sewer shut off residents' water without adequate notice. Plus,
it can be easy to get wrapped up in the loss and devastation that comes after a tragedy. But despite what they've been through, the Bridger Canyon community refuses to give up. I'm Annie Johnson with the full story coming up.
And later, we've got sports highlights galore for you. Football, volleyball, soccer. Oh my, that's coming up later in the show.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks so much for spending your Saturday night with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. The debate over conducting Montana's general election through the mail or at the polls isn't just being fought in the courts. It's also emerging as a major point in the contest for the next Secretary of State. Democrat Bryce Bennett and his Republican opponent Christy Jacobson have been lobbing shells at one another from a distance all summer. But the showdown became more direct this week as the pair squared off in a formal debate recorded for this weekend's Face the State. MTN's chief political correspondent Mike Dennison asked the pair about the flurry of lawsuits questioning whether Montana's counties should have the option to let people do all their voting through mail as a pandemic safety measure.
I will continue to fight to allow people that want to vote in person have that ability. And the only voter suppression going on is from my opponent, who's pushing for all mail ballots on reservations and trying to take away the right for people to vote in person. We need to keep Montana special and not turning it into California or Colorado.
No Montanan should have to choose between their health and casting a ballot, but that's exactly what these DC partisan operatives want. They want to pull the rug out from underneath our county clerks and recorders who are working so hard to make sure that we have strong, secure elections. With less than 30 days left until Montanans start voting, they're going to pull the rug out from these folks and make them throw out the plans that they've created to make sure the Montanans stay healthy.
And you can watch the full debate for Secretary of State between Christy Jacobson and Bryce Bennett this weekend during Face the State. Join MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison Sunday morning at 9:30 right here, or watch with the new KRTV and KXLH streaming apps for Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android now. Let's take a look at our latest coronavirus numbers from around Montana. Over 120 new cases since yesterday as the Treasure State approaches 9,000 total cases of COVID-19. Cascade County showing 180 active cases and a total case count of 438. Meanwhile, Lewis and Clark County just 9 active cases there and 208 total confirmed cases in that county. If Montana does cross over the 9,000 total case mark tomorrow, they would become the 45th state to surpass that mark, according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. On Friday, the Montana Public Service Commission held an emergency hearing regarding accusations North Star Water and Sewer shut off residents' water without adequate notice or reason on August 30th. North Star provided testimony and documentation about the water used by the subdivision, arguing the previous water shutoff was the result of overwatering by residents that were aware of water restrictions. A lawyer with the Montana Consumer Council raised concerns over a history of water issues in the area and a lack of metered watering to even know if water restrictions are being violated. The commission did not make a decision yesterday about the situation, but could end up fining North Star over the incident. Homeowners spoke with MTN and said they weren't interested in the commission's fining North Star, would rather the money go back into improving the system.
There's some serious inadequacies with the system, and I hope that this process brings some resolution and brings some solutions to those problems, rather than just creating more animosity between the water company and homeowners.
North Star is required to submit a brief to the PSC by September 25th, with a final brief due by October 21st. Well, warm and dry conditions will continue to be with us for the next couple of days. Meteorologist Grant Garland joins us now. Hey, Grant.
Hey Matt, good evening everyone. You are right, we are looking at warm conditions continuing today. We saw temperatures right around 87 degrees here in Great Falls. Down towards the capital, we looked at just a shy difference, 86 degrees. Up towards Havre though, you guys got lucky, 79 degrees. Temperatures tomorrow, 85 in the Electric City, 82 in both Havre and Lewistown, and 75 degrees in Glasgow. Tonight, right now, we are looking at temperatures right around the upper 60s, 67 degrees for Great Falls, 69 in Helena, 66 in Jordan, and 63 in Cut Bank. As far as our winds are concerned, well, we saw a breezy day today. Right now, not so much, 6 miles an hour in Great Falls and 12 out towards Glasgow. And we have been looking at just clouds rolling through the area, continuing to be the trend. Tonight, temperatures will fall down to right around 46 degrees in Great Falls, 49 in Helena, and 47 in Lewistown. Now, rain chances will be increasing for the area, but when? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to my forecast coming up in a bit. But for now, back to you, Matt.
All right, thank you, Grant. Well, Governor Bullock announced the annual Innovate Montana Symposium will be an online business platform this year. In a press release, the governor's office says marks 4 years since the symposium began. It was originally slated for September 24th in Missoula, but due to the pandemic, it will now be virtual as an innovation hub. The virtual platform seeks to provide assistance and a dynamic learning environment to help business cope with the challenges of the pandemic. Some example video sessions will include things like how to move your brick and mortar online or conserving cash. The Governor's Office of Economic Development hopes to launch the free innovation hub in October. Well, the U.S. Forest Service says after a preliminary investigation, the likely cause of the Bridger Foothills fire appears to be a holdover lightning strike. The Custer-Gallatin National Forest posted on their Facebook on Friday that the investigation was completed with support from the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, including interviews with first account observers, detailed fieldwork, and looking over weather data. According to the Forest Service, a holdover means the actual ignition of the fire likely occurred during a storm in late August that provided extensive lightning over the Bridger Mountains. A new update also says the fire is now 77% contained and is over 8,200 acres. The update goes on to show that the fire is likely to have stayed dormant until several days of warmer temperatures brought it to life on September 4th, and says that crews responded to another fire north of the foothills that same day caused by a holdover during the same storm. Speaking of the Bridger Foothills fire, day by day, Bridger Canyon community is doing what they have to do in order to move forward. MTN's Annie Johnson tells us neighbors have come together to help and stay strong.
A week ago from today, the Bridger Foothills fire burned through the canyon. But instead of focusing on what happened, now the community is coming together to move forward.
My wife and I were talking, and she said, well, wouldn't you want somebody to be able to call at any time of the day, email them, and they will have answers for you? And I said, absolutely. She's like, well, then be that person.
After residents were able to return, 36-year-old Jared Kaplan quickly became the go-to person for help. But he also came close to experiencing the results of the fire firsthand.
The sheriffs rolled in on Saturday around 3 o'clock and said, get out now, it's coming. And we did.
The fire was right in their backyard.
It was a big smoke plume, and then when the wind kicked up, it was gigantic. It looked like a volcano.
After a few days, neighboring residents joined together to help each other out.
There's a Facebook page here about the information. I was like, oh, amazing. So Evan Locke, who created that page, is a lifesaver for everyone here, and just went through that Facebook page and started giving out the correct information that everyone needed.
Which quickly turned into a system of neighbors helping neighbors.
I didn't even hesitate. I was like, absolutely. I just wanted to do it because I want somebody as a resource for me. If I did that and had that, that's who I would want to be. So. And
if there are still any victims out there struggling, Jared has a message for you.
I know you guys are trying to be the strong person for your family. Don't. I'm here. Let me be that person for you guys, and let me guide you. It doesn't hurt to ask for help, trust me. And if you're gonna ask for help, now is the time to ask for it.
The Bridger Foothills Fire Relief Fund is still active and taking donations. Reporting from Bridger Canyon, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
Well, for the first time since 1908, the state of Montana has a ship in the U.S. Navy named after it. We'll tell you more about that story after the break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. For the first time since 1908, the state of Montana has a ship in the U.S. Navy bearing its namesake. The USS Montana, a Virginia-class submarine, was christened today in Newport News, Virginia. MTN's Mitch Laggy takes us to the virtual celebration.
The usual pomp and circumstance of a ship christening was abandoned for a more socially distanced affair at the Newport News shipyard in Virginia Saturday. Only a few were there in person, but more watched online to see the ceremony filled with well wishes from Montana's Native American tribes, the state's national politicians, and the shipbuilders from Newport News and General Dynamics Electric Boat. More than 5,000 companies from all 50 states had a part in supplying materials for the construction of the Navy's newest nuclear-powered attack submarine. The USS Montana now has 135 officers and crew, 3 of whom hail from the ship's namesake state.
To the crew, together we have the privilege and responsibility to establish Montana's legacy. I'm honored to lead you in this endeavor and grateful to serve with each and every one of you. This is usually the part where I would pause and yell to my crew, "Do or die?" To which they would thunderously reply, "Big Sky." I imagine that they are listening virtually and responding from home. Just make sure you tell your neighbors this is totally normal.
The honors went to former Secretary of the Interior and the ship's sponsor, Sally Jewell, who spoke to the images within the ship's crest as part of her remarks before the christening.
The crest that you see right now on the bow of the Montana reflects the uniqueness of the Montana, from its first Native American stewards to the beautiful mountains, forests, plains, and abundant wildlife that we can all appreciate today. In the spirit of its namesake state, the USS Montana will explore some of the wildest places on Earth in service to us all.
After a quick smash of champagne across the ship's bow, it was officially given its name, Montana. Reporting in Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks, Mitch. And the bell you saw in the last shot of that piece is a replica of the first bell on the USS Montana, commissioned all the way back in 1908. Well, the census has been slowed by the pandemic. Some states are still way behind and have gone to court to seek an extension past September 30th. Hundreds of millions in federal aid and seats in Congress are at stake. In Montana, there's so much at stake that CBS News correspondent Major Garrett highlighted the Treasure State census challenges in a piece for the CBS Weekend News today. If you missed that story this afternoon, take a look.
Big Sky, it's the state's name and a way of living. To be in Montana is to behold sweeping vistas and seemingly endless horizons. But there are practical angles too. Montana has one member of Congress for its 147,000 square miles. Montana believes it has enough population for a second House seat, something it hasn't had since 1993. But first, it has to prove it through a successful census of its roughly 1 million or so population.
Library open Monday through Friday from 8.
So on radio,
do your civic duty and be counted.
At libraries and on bulletin boards, the message is as constant as the prairie wind. Be counted. That is more challenging than it sounds. Take simple delivery by mail of a census form.
Oftentimes, they don't have traditional mailing addresses. And so we have about a quarter of the state that has been, not getting the information.
Mike Cooney is the lieutenant governor.
Montana gets about $2 billion a year from the federal government based on the census. When we do not count a Montanan who should be counted, that equals about $20,000 over the 10-year period of the census.
Most of Montana is rural. Many residents receive their mail at a post office box. The Census Bureau only sends forms to addresses. If the letter carrier does not match every post office box to the corresponding address, census forms go undelivered. Amid the pandemic, millions of Americans have filled out the census online. Montana has a problem with that too. Only 59% of rural Montanans have broadband internet.
When you have a system for the first time where we're asking people to go on the computer and self-report, and you don't have the ability to do that, then you have to make adjustments very quickly. And that's why we've engaged libraries throughout the state where they do have connectivity.
Lynette O'Connor said connectivity proved a bigger challenge than the standard 10 census questions.
Probably longer to get into the internet than to fill it out.
The state has outfitted its 119 libraries with high-speed internet, a real break for 88-year-old Ralph Tenby.
I don't use the computer all that much, and it's easier to have somebody else help me.
Click the mail. We're going to have to go.
In Fallon County, where census responses are below 30%, librarian Stacy Moore is a be counted volunteer. and she's got her work cut out for her.
Now, if you click up here on this top right there, yep.
Moore was 10B's census mentor.
This should only have taken us 5 minutes.
Well, sunny skies are here with us tomorrow, but what about Monday? Well, don't go away. Our 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a fantastic Saturday evening. It definitely was a warm day today. 87-degree temperatures in Great Falls, just slightly cooler down towards Helena, 86, 82 in Glasgow, and 79 in Havre. Now, the average for this time of year is right around 72 degrees, so we're 15 degrees above that. The record, though, set back in 1919 when it was 92 degrees. That was also the year that the Grand Canyon National Park was established. Currently, temperatures 67 degrees in the Electric City, 69 in the capital, 63 out towards Lewistown, and 66 in Jordan. A little bit warmer down towards Billings at 70 degrees. Now, as far as our smoke plumes, well, that we've actually seen the smoke move towards us over the past 5 hours. We're now looking at heavy smoke that's been moving into places down towards Helena and as well as up towards Browning and Cutbank and Havre. And this has allowed for our air quality to really go down. We are actually seeing out towards Kalispell unhealthy conditions and in Spokane hazardous, and it's continuing to creep over towards us here in Great Falls. Out towards Malta, looking at unhealthy for sensitive groups. Over the last few hours, we have been looking at a few clouds that have been making their way through the area, but everyone should be looking at clear to mostly clear skies tonight. As far as how dry we are at the moment, well, we're at 28% in Great Falls, 22 in Helena, 51 though out in Lewistown. Still nice out there. Down towards O'Dillon, 17%. And tomorrow we're going to be looking at even drier conditions than we saw today. I mean, we're looking at possibly getting down towards the single digits. Like here in Great Falls, right around the 6 o'clock hour, 9% humidity. As far as our friends down towards Helena, we're looking at getting down to right around the 12%, 11%. Around 4 o'clock. So we're going to be looking at dangerous being dry tomorrow. And then on Monday, we're going to add not only the humidity being very, very low, but we're also going to start to increase our winds up to 30 to 35 miles an hour. So any existing fires on Monday will be able to quickly spread and can also start up. So we definitely want to make sure that we are keeping a watch on that. Tomorrow, our winds aren't going to be gusting that bad. 10 to 20 mile per hour winds in Jordan, also up towards Glasgow. Could be seeing a spot here or there for Havre as well. So please make sure that you are doing your part and not starting any fires unless you absolutely have to, and it's okay with that county. Tomorrow we are going to be looking at sunny skies. It's going to be a nice day tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be warming up. And then on Monday, clouds start to creep in as a low pressure from Canada starts to drop towards the Treasure State. With it having a cold front that moves in, we're going to be looking at some rain chances possible Tuesday into Tuesday night. On Wednesday, we're going to see our temperatures drop down to 71 degrees thanks to that cold front, warming up though to 77 on Thursday and 78 on Friday. Now, what about after that? Well, we're going to be looking at warmer conditions for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, it's not going to be my favorite, but you know, we'll get through it together. 47 in Lewistown, 46 in Great Falls, 45 in Hayes, and 46 in Havre tonight. We are going to be looking at our temperatures warming up on Monday to 89 degrees, mostly cloudy skies with 30 mile per hour winds. Sticking with the mostly cloudy skies Tuesday and Wednesday as well. By Thursday, mostly sunny, and then chances for showers really vamp up on Friday. That's the same situation for Helena too. We're going to be looking, though, at partly sunny skies on Monday rather than mostly cloudy. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Well, it was a Saturday packed full of sports around the state, so we sent it to Big Fork and MTN's Jack Ginsburg to kick us off.
That's right, I'm here in Big Fork on a beautiful Saturday afternoon to wrap up 3 straight days of football coverage for us here in the area. We'll end today with a cross-classification game between the Big Fork Vikings and the Fergus Golden Eagles. First possession for Fergus, and Keaton Potter takes the handoff and breaks through the defense down inside Big Fork territory early on. But a couple plays later, Fergus quarterback Chance Fields is stripped from behind and Levi Taylor scoops it up. Big Fork ball now. Then Big Fork drives all the way down to the Fergus red zone, and George Buckland takes the end around here to the corner of the end zone. Good for 6. Big Fork up 8-0 after a successful 2-point conversion. But the Golden Eagles respond. Potter makes a cut inside, and there he goes. No one's going to catch him this time. Takes it all the way in for 6. But Big Fork doesn't let the gap close. Cormac Ben on the option keeper with patience finds the end zone for another touchdown. Big Fork leads 14-6 at the half. Now let's move to the second half, where the Golden Eagles offense came alive. Seth Norsley heaves it up, and Luke Clinton reels it in at the 1-yard line. What a catch. But after a penalty pushes them back, Big Fork's Buckland makes back-to-back pass breakups to force a turnover. Big Fork can now run the clock out with 3:45 to play, but Cormac Ben fumbles the handoff, and the Golden Eagles recover the ball inside Big Fork territory. A few plays later, Norsley with the keeper goes in nearly untouched, and they tie it at 14-all with a 2-point conversion. Now we're heading to overtime. In overtime, Potter was hard to stop. He plows in for 6 plus a 2-point conversion to go up by 8. Big Fork has one more chance to tie it up here on 4th down, but the pass is caught out of bounds, and Fergus comes back to win 22-14 in their season opener. With the win, Fergus looks to keep things rolling at home next week against a tough Miles City team coming off the State A championship from last year. And then Big Fork will look to improve against Florence. Reporting in Big Fork, Jack Ginsburg, MTN Sports.
We're back in Memorial Stadium on a Saturday night where the Great Falls Central Mustangs have their 3rd home game to start off the year. But it's going to be a tough matchup with the Belt Huskies in town. Let's check out the highlights. Huskies off to a hot start this season, and that would continue on Saturday. First quarter, first drive of the game for Belt. Cayman Evans drops back and goes deep to a wide open Bridger Vogel in the middle of the field. Touchdown, and Belt's up 8-0 early. A little bit later, they're up 16-0 now. Aiden McDaniel playing quarterback. Pocket shrinks around him, so he decides to take it himself. Couple of fakes, couple of jukes. He's in to score, and it's 24-0 Huskies. Belt would add a safety. Now we're still in the first. Vogel takes the direct snap, and he sneaks inside the pylon. Just 4 minutes off the clock. Belt is up 34-0. Still in the first. Evans back at quarterback. He's down the sideline, and it's a track meet. And he's going to get first place. Belt rolls 69-0. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
It's a busy day here for sports in the capital city. We'll start things off at Helena Capital as the Bruins play host to the Knights boys and girls soccer teams. The girls up first. Let's get into the highlights.
Second half of the girls' game, Hellgate up 2-1 at this point. Carmen Anderson gets the pass, throws on the spin cycle, goes right foot to the left corner to make it 3-1. The Knights tack on one more before Lucia Baker gets some space. Kennedy Wells with the deflection on the pass, and Grace Gibson Snyder buries it, makes it to 5-1. They'll tack on another to make it 6-1, your final in favor of Hellgate. Now it's the boys' turn. Hellgate off and running. Beckett Arthur crosses up the defense and the Capital keeper to bury it on the left-hand side to make it 1-0. Similar spot, Capital keeper trying to make a play on it. It squirts off to the right, and Arthur buries it in the same spot on the quick rebound. It's 2-0. Near the end of the first half, Reggie Deuce gets tricky with it, flips it over the head of the Capital keeper to make it 3-0. Hellgate tacks on 3 more in the back end of this one to make it 6-0, your final. Now let's check out some volleyball. Senior day for the Helena High Bengals as they host the Butte Bulldogs, and they did not disappoint. First set, Liz Heiser gets the set from Alex Bullock and hammers it home. Butte trying to hang tough in this one. Mackenzie Tuddy sets up Brooke McGrath for the kill. Helena unable to corral it. Helena still leading, though, in this set. And this time, it's Heiser to Bullock, and she gives it just a light tap over the net. That one falls in for the point. Helena rolls in this one in straight sets, 25-14, 25-22, and 25-8. Reporting in Helena, Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
All right, thanks to Jack, Sam, and Isaiah for getting us those highlights. We'll be back after the break to check your weather forecast one more time.
Well, tomorrow's high is getting up to around 85 degrees in Great Falls, 86 in Helena, and 73 in Hayes. We are looking at temperatures over the next 3 days for Great Falls, getting up to around 89 on Monday, mostly cloudy and windy with 30-mile-per-hour winds gusting. We definitely need to make sure that we take that day as a critical fire day.
All right, check this out, Grant. So Mackenzie Thurston is a senior on the Great Falls High School volleyball team. Her mom, sent us this video. She missed their opening games today, which you saw at 5:30, due to being quarantined after the 2 positive COVID-19 cases at Great Falls High. Her mom tells us although she is not one of the positive cases, she's going through a 14-day quarantine for safety reasons. So her team did a drive-by to help lift her spirits. Mackenzie's mom said no words can describe how much she appreciates her teammates. How awesome is that?
That is awesome. Positivity for the win.
Absolutely. What a great way to end our show. And of course, we will see you back here tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.